It's time to bring back the Materator. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Baus, and today I am bringing back the Materator because I have 6 more varieties of micro dwarf tomatoes that I'm going to give a taste test to. I'm going to rate each and every one of these on 4 characteristics. How does it look? What does the plant look like? What does the fruit look like? How juicy is it? Scale of 1 to 5. 1 is really dry and mealy. 5 is super juicy. How does it taste? What's the flavor like? Is it sweet? Is it tart? Is it umami? Is it earthy? Is it watery? And then finally, versatility. How much versatility is in this tomato? Can you use it for sauce? Can you use it fresh? Can you use it sun-dried? How might you enjoy it? Is it going to get you a lot of different uses in your kitchen? Those are the categories that make up the Materator. If you haven't seen part 1, watch it after this. It doesn't matter all that much. Or stop right now, go watch it, and then come back and watch this. But just make sure you watch this. So the varieties we're looking at today are going to be Puck, Window Box Red, Sweet and Neat Yellow, Tokyo, Cherry Brown F3, and Raspberry Ruffles. It's going to be a good one. Let's get going. All right, we're going to start off big because this is the biggest micro dwarf tomato I am growing this year. It is Puck. So the first tomato is called Puck. It is known for having bigger tomatoes, right? This is not quite a cherry tomato. I don't know, plum-sized tomato, cocktail tomato, whatever you want to call it. Good size. Love the looks of this fruit. It looks almost like a real tomato. Let's cut her open. All right. I mean, that looks just like a classic slicing tomato, but smaller. Juiciness, it doesn't look overly juicy. It's not gushing a lot of liquid, but let's see. Medium juicy, pretty low juicy, really. It's not pasty, but it's not gushing. Really good structure, nice and meaty. You can call juiciness a 3, maybe a 2.5. Call juiciness a 2.5. Looks, I mean, I'm going to give it a 4 because it's great. Great looking tomato. The plant was pretty standard looking, but tomatoes look awesome. Love the size. And flavor. Flavor's interesting. Much more tart than I expected when I bit into it. A bit acidic, tangy, and then that classic tomato flavor finish, that umami. This is the kind of tomato that actually would be good with a little salt on it. Typically, you don't see that in a cherry type tomato, but nice flavor, really kind of a classic tomato, but just tart. Versatility, I'm going to put pretty high up there because they're big. You've got a lot of stuff to work with if you're making a sauce or something. They're tasty. You could easily slice that up, put it in salad, whatever, fresh. No problem there. You could dehydrate those because they have a lot of flavor happening. It would really condense down and kind of focus those flavors in a nice sun-dried tomato. Really good stuff. So Puck, we're off to a strong start. It is time to move on to our next variety, Window Box Red. All right, Window Box Red, pretty standard looking little cherry tomato. The plant itself grew a decent size. It loaded up pretty fast, but it really had an uneven ripening pattern. So some of them ripened really fast. I didn't harvest them. They got mushy. I think I got rid of most of those. There's a couple here. Others took their sweet time, and there's still probably a half a plant full of green tomatoes on there, but looks fairly juicy. Again, nice structure. A lot of seeds in this guy. Looks wise, it's pretty basic. I'm going to give it a 3. The plant's a 3, right in kind of in the middle-ish, a little above average. But let's see, juiciness. That's pretty juicy. Once I bit into it, there was a lot of liquid happening there, but still a good structure. I'm going to call it a 3.5 on juiciness. Flavor-wise, though, pretty mild, pretty quiet. Not a lot of strong sweetness, not a lot of strong tartness, not a lot of strong tomato flavor. Honestly, a little watery. Not my favorite flavor for a micro dwarf tomato. That's probably actually one of the most boring flavors. I'm going to give the flavor a 2. Versatility, I'm going to give that about a 2 as well. I don't know what I would use these for. They're not bad tasting, but they're really kind of boring. Good and juicy at least, so kind of refreshing if you put them in a salad, but also probably a bit messy because they're juicy. Just a boring flavor. Window Box Red, versatility, yeah, I'm going to call it a 2. I'm not 100% sure that I'll grow those again. All right, up next, we're gonna go to a yellow variety. We'll try the Sweet and Neat yellow. So this is a cool little tomato. Put on a ton of these yellow fruits. They're just nice classic cherry shapes. They're fairly small, I noticed. Like none of them got all that large, so pretty small even on the cherry scale of things. I'm a sucker for yellow tomatoes, so right off the bat, I'm just gonna give this a 3. Somewhat basic looking. Nothing too fancy about them. The plant wasn't too fancy, but they're yellow. They're cute, right? Let's slice it open and see how juicy is it. Looks pretty juicy. Tastes pretty juicy. So yeah, that's easily a 4 on the juiciness. While it looks like it has a pretty good structure, as soon as I bit into it, it just kind of liquefied. So that's a little disappointing. I wish it would have stood up better, but it's a 4 on juiciness. Yeah, flavor-wise, a tiny bit of a citrusy tartness at first, but it mellows out really fast into that classic tomato flavor. But then it finishes quite sweet, almost candy sweet. I should stop eating these. And your first bite into it, tart, a little bit of kind of an earthy umami flavor, and then just, yeah, that's really nice. Flavor, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 4.5. That's really tasty. I like it. I just like the way that it transitions. It's not the same flavor throughout. First bite is a little different. You chew a few times, a little different. And by the time you're done, it tastes like I just ate candy. Sweet and Neat, I'm gonna give that a 3.5 on the versatility scale. It's so juicy. I wouldn't necessarily want to use that in like a hot sauce because most of that water is just gonna cook off, which might be okay, but more than anything, I think these should be eaten fresh, enjoy it as a snack, or put on salads because, man. Moving on real quick, I do want to look at Tokyo. I did sample one of these in an earlier video a few weeks back when I was just talking about how fun it is to grow micro dwarf tomatoes indoors. So the plant itself, this one had a lot of trouble with tipping over because it put on a lot of fruit, but it put them all on the one side. So it just kept tipping itself over. So it's hard to judge its looks because it got beat up a lot on these wire shelves in my tent. The fruits are a good size. I like that. So I'm going to give them a 3.5 on looks. Inside, it looks fairly watery and doesn't look very firm or well structured. Yeah, that's a 4 on juiciness. Quite juicy. Almost falls apart, but there's just enough texture and structure there to make it a good chew. Flavor-wise, pretty mid, pretty mild. Just a little bit watery, nothing too strong, not too sweet, not too tart, not too sour, not too earthy, no peppery flavors, just kind of meh. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 on flavor. It's just not my favorite. You could definitely use it for things. I think roasting these or putting them on the smoker is how I'm gonna use them, and then put them in a hot sauce. So I'm gonna give them a 2 on versatility as well. Not a lot to do with them just because they don't stand out. At the same time, I guess you could do almost anything with them, but not super impressed with Tokyo. Up next, we're gonna look at Cherry Brown F3. Cherry Brown F3. Well, F3 means it is an early generation cross, and you get some instability when you're doing plant breeding, especially in those lower, F2 through F5, 6 kind of generations. Sometimes a surprise color pops out. So I believe these were supposed to be brown before, or the F2 that the seeds from this were grown in probably had brown fruit, but these are yellow. Most of the fruit have a tiny little bit, it's hard to see, but they do have a tiny little bit of a point on them. Some of them I saw had a more pronounced point, and of course now I can't find one. Like this guy, I don't know, you probably can't tell, maybe you can see it on the overhead, but it does have a little bit more of a point on it. So that's a fun shape. I hope that becomes a trait that stabilizes a little bit because some of them just have this boring round bottom. So looks wise, I'm gonna give this one a 3.5. It's got some potential, even though it's the wrong color since it was supposed to be brown. Inside, it seems very dense. Doesn't look all that juicy. We've got some juice on one half, pretty dry and meaty on the other half. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. So a lot of structure to it, a lot of meat to it. Probably about a 2.5 on juiciness. Not like a paste tomato, but not like some of these other ones that are just gushers. Flavor-wise, it's not bad. A little bit of a like tart, earthy flavor. So not too tart, not too earthy or umami, but a nice blend when you first bite in. And then it mellows out a little bit and just kind of has a classic tomato flavor. Not too strong though, like on a scale of 1 to 5 as far as how strong is the flavor, it's like a 3. So it's a little better than 50%. I'm gonna call it a 3 on the flavor scale, just because it's not bad, but it doesn't really stand out in any way, shape, or form either. Versatility though, I could use this in hot sauce, no problem. It's got a good meatiness to it. It'll provide a good bulk to my sauce, and it'll be beautiful. I love yellow hot sauce, yellow tomatoes, yellow peppers together. I think that means we have just one more to look at today. We went through these pretty fast. Okay, this is another repeat from my video just about growing micro dwarf tomatoes indoors, but it's the Raspberry Ruffles. I was really impressed with this one in that video. So let's see if I still like it after having just tasted 11 other varieties, 10 other varieties in the last week. The plant itself looks pretty nice. Nothing too stand out. I'm gonna give it a 3 just because it's pretty basic looking cherry tomato micro dwarf plant. Inside looks beautiful though. I love it. It's got a little bit more of like a pinkish color. I really hope that's showing up on the camera well. So it's a lighter color inside, very juicy looking. Let's see. Man, I forgot how good those were. Okay, so yes, I'm gonna give it a 4 on juiciness. It has a ton of moisture in it, but it holds a really good structure when you chew. It doesn't just dissolve, but boy is that juicy. So 4 on juiciness. Flavor, I'm telling you, that is still my absolute favorite. That's a 5. It is very sweet. It is very unique. Not a candy sweetness so much as it is like a natural fruit sweetness. Just awesome. I don't know that it tastes like raspberries to me, but it is a little bit of a berry flavor. Almost no tartness, almost no acidic flavor. Just really delicious. So Raspberry Ruffles is looking like it's going to be the flavor leader for 2026. I'm going to go do a little bit of math, and then I'll be right back and show you the updated Materator with all of these new varieties, and then combine them with the previous tastings, and we'll have a running leaderboard for 2026. All right, so the results are in. I've got my super secret playbook here that I only had to scratch out like 3 times because my math was off. There's not even any math. It's just putting numbers in order of highest to lowest. Yeah. With no further ado, let's bring up the Materator. So for today's entries, the best tasting, no surprise, and the best flavor, top of the pack today, Raspberry Ruffles with a 5 on flavor. Right behind that, with a 4.5 on flavor, was Sweet and Neat Yellow. Third place today was Puck with a 3.5. Fourth place today is Cherry Brown F3 with a 3. And fifth place today was Tokyo at 2.5. Last place today was Window Box Red with a 2 on flavor. So today's Materator was interesting. We have hit peak. 5 is the highest score. Can anything do better than Raspberry Ruffles? We'll find out. Let's look at the overall Materator for these 11 varieties that I grew over the winter in my basement in 1-gallon pots. Overall leaderboard is looking like this. We have in first place Raspberry Ruffles, in second place Vilma, in third place Sweet and Neat Yellow, in fourth place Multiflora Gigi's Glory, in fifth place is Pearl Tachake, sixth place Henry Harrington's Bush, seventh place Puck, eighth place Yellow, ninth place Cherry Brown F3, 10th place is Tokyo, and at the very bottom of the freaking scale is this Window Box Red. What a sad little tomato this is. No, it's not even that bad, right? Like, they're all good, but there's good, and then there's like Raspberry Ruffles. So that is where the Materator stands at the end of this winter grow. I have seeds for several varieties that you've seen me taste coming to members of this channel. So if you're interested in getting seeds for free, just the cost of membership, which is as low as like $2.99 a month, or if you want to go a little special, I think you can do $6.99 a month. Really helps this channel out. You'll get free stuff. You'll get extra goodies. I am really looking to dive into supporting my members this year in 2026, starting in April when the first batch of microdwarf seeds go out. So consider it. At the very least, give this a like if you made it this far. Hit subscribe if you're not already. And remember, plants help us grow. Oh, and watch this video over here.